22nd. We'll be at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park celebrating what it means to be truly Pan-African as we come together as one. But let's get into the meat of the matter, start our discussions for the morning. Let me say good morning and a very warm welcome to my guest in the studio, Mr. Philip Longden. He's a member of the Movement for Change. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
Oh, by His grace, doing well. Thank you.
Hopefully you had a restful weekend. You're ready for the week ahead.
Yes, I was in Cape Coast. We had our Fashion Festival.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm a Safohin in Tin.
Okay.
I was there. Yeah.
Well, they say big man. Good to have you in the studio, and good to see you this morning. We have a few issues on the table this morning, but I'd like to first of all take your reaction to, or pick your thoughts on what happened over the weekend. I'm talking about the parliamentary primaries in Tamale Central. So that happened on Saturday. We now know that senior lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, Professor Alidu Seidu, has emerged victorious in the Tamale Central parliamentary primaries of the National Democratic Congress. Now, he polled some 840 votes in Saturday's contest, securing a commanding lead over 11 other aspirants, including 3 women, in what was described as one of the most competitive primaries in the constituency's history. Now, the election, held at the Alhaji Aliyu Mahama Sports Stadium, was organized to choose a successor to the late MP Alhaji Murtala Mohammed, Comrade, as he liked to be called, who tragically died in a helicopter crash along with 7 others. And Mr. Longden, I'll pick your thoughts actually on this issue of by-elections. If someone dies, a member of parliament dies, like we saw in Akwetia, some say we don't need to actually organize a by-election. Some of the thoughts that have been floating are that, well, the party should put a candidate forward, agree amongst themselves, and just, put them forward. Do you agree with that? Is that democratic enough, or is this sort of contest necessary in a democracy where we are now?
Well, thank you very much, and good morning again, and good morning to your listeners. Yes, this argument has been made by a lot of people. One of the main concerns is the cost saving that the absence of or the non-running of a by-election would do. I mean, because running a by-election is expensive. Apart from the costs that participants would incur, it is also expensive for the state. And in fact, it's that cost that people are particularly worried about. The Electoral Commission would have to organize and do the election, organize its people, go to the constituency, and all the logistics and everything else.
All of the printing, the deployment, the feeding, the transport costs, fuel.
So when we put all those costs together, it's quite a bit of a cost to the state. So many patriotic Ghanaians who are always constantly thinking about ways that the state can save money have come up with this suggestion, which in itself is not a bad suggestion. But if you consider what the seat is all about, which is about the representation of the people in the House of Parliament, and that the people should have a free choice as to who they would want, then we realize that, yes, in as much as parties contest elections, there are also independent candidates too who contest.
That's right.
Yes. So, and when a member is elected into Parliament, in as much as he or she may choose to sit on one side or the other of the House, that individual is representing the people.
Right.
not just the people of their party. So if somebody comes on the ticket of a party and is representing all the people, and for some reason that person is no longer there and has to be replaced for whatever reason, then the people will have to look for somebody to replace them. And, the people can decide to take anybody. Take the case of Tamale Central.
Right.
Yes, there were 12 contestants. All those 12 contestants chose to contest. 12 contestants for the NDC primaries. As of now, one has been elected among them. But any others could have chosen to, go on their own. So I don't think it should be restricted to political party.
Right.
Anybody, because there could have been a situation where the person may have been an independent, sitting on one side of the party or of the house, either of the majority or minority. And if that person were to be replaced, you can't say, therefore, we should go and look for an independent person to replace him. We'll still have to go for it.
The people's choice has to be respected.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So I think that in itself just defeats that democratic principle. In as much as it would be a good idea to save money and all that, yes. But I think the process must be followed. Yes, some political parties may choose, for one reason or the other, not to contest. We've seen that in the past where parties have gone into alliance with others.
That's right.
In which case, a party might choose not to field a candidate to support another party in their candidate for that seat. We've seen situations where a party may choose not even to contest, either as a boycott or either for various other reasons they don't want to contest. So those are decisions that a party can take, but I do not think that people should be limited to a political party.
Speaking of parties making a decision, to either contest or to boycott or for whatever reason, if we take it back a few weeks, we saw that the NPP had decided not to contest in Tamale Central.
That's right.
There was a communique that we came across, and the reason for that was to honor the memory, they said, of the late Comrade Murtala Mohammed. What did you make of that? Did you think that was a politically wise decision? Would you have wanted to see the NPP throw their hat in the ring? What sort of difference do you think that would have made?
It is a political decision that the NPP took. As to the wisdom or otherwise of it, I cannot say. The NPP had every right to contest. They chose not to.
Should they have?
Well, they should have. The last time they contested, didn't they? They contested against Murtala. So, if, unfortunately, his seat has become vacant for the reasons that it has become, one would have expected an MPP to contest again. But of course, they came up with the point that they will not contest out of what? What was their excuse?
To show some solidarity with the NDC, commiserating with the people of Tamale Central, and showing respect to the late Comrade.
Okay.
Is that skepticism that I hear in your voice? Because you wouldn't be alone in that thought process. A lot of people made the argument that it's not an area that the NPP has really performed so well, and if you look at the results of the 2024 elections, that it would have been politically maybe unwise to even venture. Is that really why you think they withdrew from that contest?
I mean, that's very much suggests why they did that, because we've had by-elections in the past under similar circumstances where unfortunately a member of parliament has been lost. Both parties contested. I mean, this has never been an issue. We saw it the last time when the late John Kuma passed.
That's right.
The NDC chose not to.
In Ejisu, they said, we're not going to go. We won't go there.
Yes. It was a nice gesture, but everybody knew that it was because of where the seat was coming from. It was very unlikely. And looking at the mood in the constituency, how the people were feeling at the time, the NDC probably calculated and said, let us just let this one go.
Right.
And that's what they did. In this case, it was a little different. And so, in the Tamale case, the MPP chose to use the same excuse not to contest. But touch wood, if some kind of situation, an MP resigns, an MP chooses to cross, or whatever reason, there is a by-election in another area that MPP feels it has a good chance of winning, irrespective of where that individual came from, whether it was from MPP or NDC.
Right.
And there had to be another contest for that seat. I can't see the MPP saying that they won't contest.
So, for example, in Akwete, I mean, of course, that's different because that was an NPP seat at the end of the day, after all the court processes were done. There were some, it seemed, some expectations from the NPP that the NDC would withdraw. But if you take a look at the way or the voting pattern of Akwete, it's not really for one party per se. They make up their mind as and when. And so we saw that fierce contest. Quick thoughts also on the outcome of the Akwete by-election. Were you surprised that it turned from a blue seat to a green seat?
Well, I had been given indications that it was very likely it was going to flip to NDC because of some of the internal wranglings that were going on in the MPP, particularly to do the choice of the candidates, and even the way the politicking was going on the ground. So I was not at all surprised that the seat flipped from MPP to NDC.
And now we see that we have a new member of parliament elect there for the Akwete constituency. Another interesting line of thought that has emerged from this Professor Alidu Seidu win, as far as Tamale Central is concerned, is that we are losing our professors to politics. Is this something to be concerned about? Is this an argument that you have followed or picked up on?
Well, first of all, I want to use this opportunity to congratulate Professor Alidu Seidu on his nomination, on winning the primaries. He's a friend, and I really appreciate him. He's a very brilliant man, and I wish him well. Now, I'm also happy that we have, more people of his caliber coming into parliament. It's good for Ghana. It's good for Ghana. I think when we have more of such people in our politics, we'll be moving away from some of our petty politicking to more serious debate. And I say this with all due respect to everybody in parliament. But if you take our parliament from 1992 to date, we have moved away quite considerably from the naked politics of just politics without people going into any issue, but simply because the government has said it, everybody just backs it. And when the government has said something, people, the opposition just opposes it irrespective of the merits of the case. I think our democracy has moved quite a bit from there. And we are getting more, more solid politics going on. So I welcome the prospect of somebody like Professor Alidu becoming a member of parliament to enrich the human capacity. And I actually sincerely do hope that we have more of such people. Yes, we have, I know in academia we are losing, we don't have enough of that level of material to train the next generation of leaders in academia.
That's right.
So yes, it is a concern, and I think it is legitimate. But at the same time too, I believe that just as we have doctors in parliament, we have lawyers in parliament, we have bankers in Parliament.
Right.
I think it's good that we also have professors.
Certainly. I do want to explore that thought further, because there seems to be this suggestion that once people get into Parliament, a certain spirit takes over. But I'd like us to also connect with my colleague, Christopher Amarco. He's our Northern Regional Correspondent, to give us some more on what transpired over the weekend. Christopher, hello, good morning.
Good morning, Ellen, and good morning to you and the team.
Hope you're doing well this morning. Thank you for joining us on the program.
By the grace of God, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Now, I wanted to get some better particulars from yourself. You monitored the exercise over the weekend. I'm talking about the NDC's parliamentary primaries. They were on a mission to select a candidate in place of the late Comrade Murtala. What can you tell us?
Yes, so Ellen, I can say that the election was peaceful. The processes from the picking of nominations to filing to the main election itself on Saturday, everything was peaceful, even though we had greater numbers of people contesting in that election, 12 of them at the Alidu Seidu Stadium where the election took place. We saw the deployment of some over 400 security personnel to the venue, but at the grounds, it turned out that the security deployed to the area virtually had nothing to do because the people comported themselves, probably because of the circumstances leading to the by-election. Maybe that informed that atmosphere restored. But generally, Ellen, I can say that the process was peaceful. We didn't hear any of the aspirants complain of issues of fairness because after the election, they all unanimously came together to congratulate Professor Alidu Seidu, who won the election with some 840 votes. Even before the election, Ellen, we mentioned that the election was just between two individuals, that is Professor Alidu Seidu and lawyer Gundambo, the former mayor of Tamale, because of the reception that they had from the delegates and the messages that they were sending to the delegates. I must say that their supporters as well comported themselves throughout the period. And like I said, Ellen, everything was peaceful.
All right. And how are local constituents reacting to Professor Seidu's selection?
Yes, they are very happy. In fact, they describe him as the perfect replacement of the late Member of Parliament, Dr. Murtala Muhammad Ibrahim, because when you look at his level of understanding of politics as he has been engaging the people, they believe that he had some qualities of the late Member of Parliament. They believe that with the caliber of understanding of parliamentary affairs and other issues of governance, when he gets there, he will be able to make a difference. So far, he has indicated and intimated that going into Parliament, he's going to ensure that he builds upon the legacy of the late Member of Parliament. He has said that he didn't want to even contest the late Member of Parliament because of the relationship they had. And so, but because of the call from the residents, that is why he has come. The people are very happy. The people believe that he'll be able to deliver because he has assured them that as he's coming to make sure that whatever that they were envisaging the late Member of Parliament to do, he will do them and also add his own part of the development. And so his reassurance to the people is giving them some level of hope that he's a perfect replacement and he'll be able to deliver well in Parliament. They also have that hope and trust in him because even before becoming the parliamentary candidate of the NDC or even coming into frontline politics, he's been supportive to the people within the constituency. He's always been engaging with some of the top leadership of the region and ensuring that some of the people, not only from his constituency, but within Dagbon and Northern region, get some attention and relevance. And so the people are happy. I engaged one woman who told me that she was brought in very weak when she voted. An ambulance had to carry her out of the venue. But she said she did that because she was coming to vote for Professor Alidu Seidu. And that tells us how people were willing to get him win the primaries to become their member of parliament.
Very interesting. Sounds like certainly a very popular man, and by all accounts, the people are excited, happy about this choice. But what would you say, Christopher, are the major concerns or expectations of the Tamale Central community following this replacement?
Yes, so their major concern has to do with job for the people. According to some of them, before the unfortunate demise of the late member of parliament, he had assured some people that he was going to get them jobs, he was going to put some infrastructure in their communities and all those things. In fact, I witnessed the presentation of some 43 appointment letters by Professor Alidu Seidu to some youth in the Tamale Central constituency because these appointment letters were ready for distribution before the unfortunate death of late Member of Parliament Murtala Mohammed. And so he had come to issue the appointment letters to the people. So that tells the people that job is one thing that they are all clamoring for. If he's able to get jobs for the people, if he's able to do some school infrastructure, even though Tamale Central falls within the urban district of Tamale, there are some that still need some basic amenities. And you also know that the water situation in Tamale is one thing that is of great concern.
That's
and
right.
So if they are able to do all this and ensure that he's able to partner with his other colleagues to bring all these things, then it means that the people will have no regrets choosing him as the parliamentary candidate. And obviously, for now, even if, let me say, by previous elections, Ellen, even if MPP was contesting in this election, the level at which the election would have gone, you can say, using previous statistics from elections that have been held in the Tamale Central constituency, for instance, you can say that NDC would have still probably won the election. And so right now, Prof Alidu Seidu is saying as a member of parliament for the Tamale Central constituency, even though the September 30 date scheduled for the by-election is not yet in, but that is what people are saying. People see him as their member of parliament. And so they believe that he should be able to, first of all, secure jobs for the teeming youth in the Tamale Central constituency. And if he's able to do that, he would not have to campaign again in the subsequent elections if he wants to contest. It will be a cool top for him.
A cool chop, indeed. That was going to be my final question to you, Christopher. We know that the Electoral Commission has scheduled the Tamale Central by-election for September 30, and also a statement from EC Chairperson Jean Mensah indicates that nominations will be accepted from the 8th of September. That's today, all the way through up until the 10th of September. That's on Wednesday. Any indication that anybody else is lacing their boots to go up against Prof? We know that the NPP, like you rightly mentioned, have decided to refrain from these elections.
Yes, so Ellen, about 4 days ago, I saw a flyer on social media of one gentleman who says he was coming to contest as an independent candidate. As to whether that is true or not, we can't tell. Probably from today to Wednesday, we'll be able to tell if that person can go and pick nomination. Apart from that person, we've not heard from any other person expressing interest in contesting the by-election. And so, obviously, if by Wednesday, no one goes to pick, because we know that the NDC has a candidate and automatically they will be picking nomination and filing. If by Wednesday, from today to Wednesday, we don't see any other person apart from the NDC going to pick nomination, then it means automatically Professor Alidu Seidu is the Member of Parliament for the Tamale Central constituency.
Christopher, thank you so much for your time this morning. Always a pleasure. And that was Christopher Amwako. He's our Northern Regional Correspondent. We come back in studio. We're still joined by Mr. Philip Longden. He's a member of the Movement for Change. We're discussing the primaries that took place over the weekend in Tamale Central. Senior lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, Professor Alidu Seidu, emerged victorious. We're talking about whether or not we need more academia in the House of Parliament. And I wanted to explore that a little bit further, whether or not that sort of changes things. This idea that once individuals get into Parliament, they suddenly have a change of mind. They now have to, follow the pack, as it were. You are whipped into line, you're whipped into shape. And whether or not that creates that conflict. If professors, senior members in academia should stay there and support the Republic in that capacity, or if really it's a good idea to now infiltrate Parliament.
Well, first of all, let me just make a comment about the, how should I describe it, testimony or the report that your correspondent gave of the primaries that went and the response of the people to Professor Alidu Seidu. As I said, I told you, I know him.
Right. Very
decent gentleman. And I see what happened as a reflection of his personality. Here's somebody who is so affable, and his depths of intellect, you see. So I wish him well. And I think, I insist, I have a personal conviction that a lot that happens has to do with leadership. How well 3FM goes, well, to a very large extent, it depends on the kind of leadership you have here.
Right.
So it is with every organization, even family, So I think that a person like that coming into Parliament is good news for Ghana, not just his party. Or the party is coming through. So I think that's okay, that's good. We've also seen, across the world, professors who have thrown blows in lecture halls and all manner of places. So it's not just necessarily the fact that he's a professor.
So not just that you have that title means that you are,
No.
Right.
No. So it is a culmination of everything.
Right.
The title and your qualifications, your experiences, your everything is part of it. So all that put together makes that personality. And I'm saying that he, as a person, I think is a good, and is good for Parliament. Now, to the point of you're still coming back to the issue of, yes, I also believe that the more knowledgeable anybody is in any way, the more experienced anybody is in any way, is good. So when you have people who have been training, people who are so deep in academia, bringing that rich experience into the legislature, into our governance system, I think it's good. And it is better for us to have, and I don't have anything against any young person coming to Parliament or going to politics, but I believe sincerely that when we have more of such people than people who don't have any experience trying to go into the forefront of politics, I think I prefer the former.
Really?
Yes.
What about this idea of the exuberance of youth, that sort of energy, a different perspective? Because this comes up time without number, whether we prefer vibrancy of youth over experience of age.
Vibrancy is a word. Vibrancy. Then there's youth. Youth is not necessarily age.
Okay.
My little experience in life has taught me that youth is not necessarily age. You find young people behaving irresponsibly. You find people much older behaving equally. You come across young people with depths of knowledge, depths of experience, depths of maturity and intellect. Yes. So you go to the universities, you find some young lecturers, doctors. When I say doctor, I'm talking doctorates.
Right.
And I'm not necessarily referring to academic qualifications alone. People who have established themselves in business, in tradition, in all spheres of life, establish themselves in on their own merit. Yes, we should have more of such people in Parliament and in all spheres. The Singapores of this world, everybody at whatever level, it's government policy for that person to keep improving themselves.
So really that the discussion shouldn't be relegated to age. We're fixated on age when really it's the character.
Character, fundamentally. If you're a young man and you go somewhere and you have sharp teeth and you are reckless and you are a discredit to other young people. Yes. But there are young people too who are, you meet them and say, you appreciate them. You see, we should have, our educational system should nurture people like that.
Right.
That from the moment you enter the institution to by the time you're going out, yourself, you should be able to see in yourself an improvement in your own self. The way you behave, the way you interact, the way you deal with people. And it should be a constant progression in one's life. And when there's that constant progression, naturally, life being what it is, some people will progress faster than others. So you find a young person progressing faster than somebody who is probably older. You might find somebody older who might start learning certain lessons of life much later in life, but they might also go faster. Such is life.
That's certainly powerful food for thought. I think it's something we should all ruminate on today, that we all are continuously improving ourselves regardless of age, regardless of where we find ourselves. Mr. Longi, I want us to segue into another conversation. It's very, very topical. The young ones call it bass boos or boos bass, some sort of fracas, if you will. I'm talking about what's happening.
I've heard that expression before. So
okay. That's why I preface it by saying the young ones call it bass boos. And that is to say that there is some it's a rather tumultuous situation. Now, the Republic Press has this to say, or had this to say on the front page of the paper. Ken Baumia comes clash as delegates struggle to find X. What we are terming the infighting within the New Patriotic Party. It's certainly a conversation worth dissecting, because as you would agree, I'm sure, every country needs a strong opposition to keep government on its toes, to ensure that government is doing what it needs to do. And that's why, for us, it is topical what is happening now with the New Patriotic Party. The party has decided to embark on its flag bearership race come January 2026. Now, that has been met with a lot of critique because the idea is that they're going on a top-to-bottom approach, or they're using a top-to-bottom approach as opposed to a bottom-top approach. First of all, what do you make of that decision? And what do you make of what is transpiring before our very own eyes? That's a very deep sigh.
You know, it's unfortunate. It's sad. Anytime I'm having to talk about these things, I don't feel too happy. But well, as you know, I was once a very strong member of the New Patriotic Party. Very, very strong. And deeply committed. But the party has become something else. Completely something else. Completely. You know. And it's not getting any better. It's only getting worse. Every day there's a new problem. And for some of us who have been in there before, I have contested before.
In what capacity?
As a parliamentary candidate aspirant.
I see.
In the Kiprus North constituency. Twice. The first time was a very short period towards the primaries. I put up a good show. The second time, you know, there was a lot of very good prospects. But my regional chairman at the time, Robert Kutin Jr., may God rest his soul, he was all out to support me. He felt that I was going to be a very good candidate for the party in the central region, Cape Coast in particular. But anyway, what happened was the party thought otherwise. In as much as there were many strong people in the party who thought I should, there were others in the party who felt, no, it shouldn't happen. Because the party was taking its own decisions that, look, once we say this person isn't going, he's not going, no matter what you do. So the party would actually even make sure you do not get it in favor of some other person. So that's what happened. Well, it's politics, so we just took it like that. But I see instances like that were happening too much. I wasn't the only one who was treated like that. Many other people were treated like that. Many. And it had started long before then. We had actually won and voted and elected a national chairman. The party manipulations and machinations were done, got him out. General secretary got him out. Second vice or third vice also got out. I mean, and these things just kept going on and on and on and on and on and on at all levels. Some regional chairman, they don't like it, they want to get him out. I mean, it was no longer the popular choice of the people for various positions. No, it was once some particular people didn't want you there, no way, you will not get it. And they will do whatever. And this has gone on for so long, it has affected the party. Now today we are where we are. The New Patriotic Party has gone and taken a decision to elect the flag bearer in January.
That is that they want to do it in January 2026.
And it will be done at what is being called top down.
That's right.
Normally, the party starts polling station elections. We elect representatives for all the polling stations in Ghana. From polling stations, you have electoral area representatives elected. Then you have constituency representatives elected. Then regional executive. Then national executive. Before the flag bearer is chosen. By which case, the internal dynamics and democracy, would have gone through, and people would have chosen their own people for all levels, and eventually. But in the recent past, all we saw was certain people trying to control, not influence, control who gets where and who gets what. And when some people get to certain places and they're not happy with them, do everything necessary to get them out and put their own people there. This is what it has been. Now it's got to a point where it's gone beyond that. Now, the older executive are going to try and get a presidential candidate. And when the presidential candidate is elected, then virtually that presidential candidate is going to determine everybody else down the line. And that is just a recipe for disaster.
What do you make of this idea that the reasoning behind this decision is that after a defeat such as what we saw in December 2024, the party needs that central figure to rally behind as soon as possible to then provide that much needed direction or leadership? That idea has been advanced, time after time. Whenever we pose that question, at least to members of the NPP or the leadership of the NPP, they say, well, this is what we need as a party. If we've got one central figure, we then all put our weight or throw our weight behind that person and then, sort of toe the line. That is the thinking or some of the ideas that have been espoused by the leadership.
You see, in a democracy or a democratic organization like that, it's not necessarily a central figure. You need leadership. And leadership will normally have come for political parties, it's normally a council of elders, people that everybody looks up to and appreciates their wisdom. Where the New Patriotic Party is today, what would have been most essential was for leaders of wisdom to come together and help sort out the issues. Let everybody listen to their wise counsel. When I say such a leader, what are you talking about? Former President Kufuor. It's not about the biggest man in the party. Then President Akufo-Addo. If the two were to come together and say, look, we are back together, we want things to work out properly, and the party will listen to them, things will change. When this top-down was being proposed, who were the two loud voices who were opposed to it? President Kufuor and President Akufo-Addo. The two of them said, no, this won't work. The party went ahead and did it. So I think the point being made is just an excuse, because if it was a sincere decision, that's not how they would have gone about it.
So you say it's insincere, these are just excuses, and that this is all being put together to advance one candidate, to propel one candidate.
It is being put together. If I say that it's being put together to advance one candidate, maybe I don't want to sound too, but it's being put together that it would favor. This is the way it appears. Because what's the hurry? You're not giving people enough time to campaign. You're not giving people enough time to influence. Look, it's I don't want to even, it's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for disaster. And Ghana doesn't need that. Ghana needs a strong opposition.
That's right.
Even as an individual, you need an opposition, which is a conscience. Then when you're doing something and you're not doing it right, the conscience will help put you straight. The same way in politics, we need a strong, vibrant, focused opposition. That is not just going to oppose everything the government does, but will give the government an alternative view to even the good things it's doing, to make the government even perform better.
In other jurisdictions, you would call the opposition development partners. Mr. Longden, let me pause you there very quickly, and let me also introduce into the conversation Dr. Jonathan Asante-Otri. He's a political analyst and a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. Doc, hello, good morning.
Good morning, Helen.
Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us on the program.
You're welcome. I'm doing right.
Fantastic. Good to hear your voice. This morning, we are taking a look at a few issues, and surprise, surprise, we've got the New Patriotic Party front and center in some newspapers. This time round, we're talking about two of the flag bearer hopefuls, Kennedy Japan, as well as Dr. Bawumia. We know that their camps continue to clash with sound bites coming each and every day from each camp. Now, Kennedy Japan has given us some mathematical equation to solve. We said we should find X, talking about the vote difference between 2016 and also 2024. The internal contest for the New Patriotic Party 2026 flag bearer slots is getting heated. What does that signal to you, and what do you think this is currently doing for Ghana's biggest opposition party?
Well, let me say good morning once again, and to your good listeners. I have an MPP friend who always tells me that I'm like a prophet. Whatever I say usually comes to pass. The point is that it may or it will get even a little murkier before it gets better. But
you are expecting murkier waters even as it is now before things get better? I mean, it's become a full exchange of words each and every day.
Yes. So as the days come by, right, there will be more portraits. There will be more of these tantrums that will be held against each other because these are the two leading candidates for that particular slot. And the point is that presumptuously, it appears that Bawumia is likely to win. Now, what should the rest do? Especially when the architecture, of the organization, the planning, everything, the early organization of presidential primaries, most of these things inure to the benefit of a particular candidate, the presumptuous leader of the party. Then certainly they have nothing to lose than to create murkiness. So in effect, it would have been the cause of the executive themselves, the FEC, the Council of Elders, all of these people sitting idle, creating a situation that will favor a particular individual. That in itself will create more problems for the party. So you see, some of these tantrums that keep coming, I said time without number that is still going to get a little more murkier. They may even be revealing, not through them, be revealing certain deals and, other things that will probably smear a particular candidate or the other. It's something that is likely to happen. And that is why I'm of the view that it's even going to get a little more murkier than it gets better. As I said, my problem is, once they are done, would they be able to repair the damage?
Is it possible?
Would they be able to repair the damage? That is the thing. Because I sat down this morning, I've had about 3 interviews this morning already. I asked myself, what is the basis for the MPP to re-elect Dr. Bawumia? What's the basis? Okay, there are 2 things. One in favor, one that is not in favor.
Right.
The first one is the fact that he's been vice president. He's seen it all. He's the more experienced. The other aspect too is that he is among those who supervised the disastrous, defeat of the MPP. So that's a negative. And then the other thing too is that it's not merely about his personality. The point is the NDC must give us the worst form of the economy that they inherited from the MPP. If the NDC does not give us the worst form of the economy that they inherited from the MPP, but a superior or a better one, bringing Bawumia will not change the mind of Ghanaians. Then the point is, why are you bringing him? Because I am of the view that, look, when they tweak the leadership, it will help them. It will create some kind of a new ambience, a refreshing atmosphere within the system. And people may have a rethink, people may be a bit confused because the person without that huge baggage from the previous government will come with that kind of full force and will be able to take on the main party that is in government, that is the NDC. But as it stands now, as long as they are creating the organogram in such a way that it will favor one particular candidate, it means that they are creating more division within the party going forward. And they risk an implosion, internal implosion within the party. They should be listening to what Mr. Kwame Mpianim has been saying. And that is very important. Apart from that, too, you see, they need to take people who have clout, especially the chairmanship. Mr. Comeade Japan, for example, astute politician, very articulate. He has new ideas, brilliant ideas. But you see, they want to vote for you. You have been a presidential candidate since 2008, trying to be the president or the flag bearer of the party. Apart from the period that you were suspended, when you came back, when you were reinstated, you started again. And it has not really worked. I am of the view that such a personality has gone for the chairmanship. If he's not interested, Mr. Boadejako should even go for the chairmanship, because now you guys want to bring reforms within the party. The chairmanship, the new conference that they ratified, is going to be the leader of the party, both in opposition and in government, though I disagree. But that is the new thing that they have brought. So when you have a powerful chairman, like these two personalities that I've mentioned, they will be able to bring certain changes within the party. But they have always had in mind to be the presidential candidate. That has not really worked. For now, we have about 4, strong candidates, or 3 that will slug it out with Dr. Baumia. And unfortunately, you have 2 of them, holding at the scruff of the neck of the Baumia campaign team here and there, throwing tantrums here and there, and creating more mechanisms for the party, for the internal. But you see, conducting elections from the top to the bottom. Well, I am using a building collapsing analogy. When the building collapses, it comes with the full force from the top, and it is raised to the ground. But when you build from the bottom, you take it slowly, and you're able to build a strong structure that will last or stay the time. That will last for a period, timelessly. So if you don't do it that way, and you're doing this just because maybe you want somebody to be favored, you will create more problems for yourself.
Doc, some interesting thoughts there. You say that Comeade Japan should go for the national chairmanship position.
Comrade Japan.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Okay, but what do you think of Comeade Japan taking that role?
Well, that wouldn't have been bad. That wouldn't have been bad either. He is an unconventional politician, and he taking up the chairmanship will mean that he can hold, the leaders of the party accountable. That wouldn't be bad. I have not even thought of that. But looking at the refined nature of Comeade Japan, is the way he articulates his views,
right?
Is very sober when it comes to reasoning, on other issues. Comeade Japan is the non-conventional, boisterous type of politician. As to whether they will also want to consider that, well, I don't think in his case he will want to, especially when he realizes that, he could easily be the presidential candidate of the party. Other than that, that proposition is equally something that they can also consider. But at this point in time, I doubt he will want to do so.
Interesting thoughts there. And finally, Doc, before I let you go, you say that things could potentially get murkier before they get better. For things to get better, what does the new patriotic party have to do? The consensus is that they are on a fast track to implosion. And for the people of Ghana, that is not a good thing.
Yeah, certainly it is not a good thing. What should they have to do? The problem is that the current national executive don't have clout. They don't have clout to crack the whip because they appear compromised one way or the other. So if they try anything that will affect one side, there will be an implosion. There will be a fight back. So what they are now tempted to do is just to look on as time wears on, so that the elections, the presidential primaries is done, and then we'll get the leader, and then we'll take it from there. Because they don't want to risk a situation where there could be more internal conflict. And that is the more reason why they have kept quiet. So the only thing they can do is to advise that, we must tone down on excesses in terms of speeches, in terms of attack. And that's the only thing they can say. But if somebody even goes beyond what is not supposed to, where in terms of disciplinary, decisions could affect that person, they will be hesitant. Because after all, you need to get a flag bearer before they conduct the other elections that will represent the body of the head. We're going to take the flag bearer is now the head. Even now, with the way the Constitution has been amended,
right,
the flag bearer is not the head. I mean, that in itself is not a realistic decision that they took. Theoretically, yes, but practically, it's not going to work. So, if they could turn back the hand of time by saying that they are going to conduct the elections from the bottom to the top, that will help. But at this point in time, that is a little too late for them. The decision has already been taken.
That's right.
So once that election is done, what will happen is that we are going to have an elected democratic tyrant. That is someone who will make sure that all those other people who supported either Kennedy Japan or Dr. Bani Champon or Dr. Duchum or Comrade Japan, they will make sure that those people don't get elected into the national executive, into the regional, into the constituency, and so on and so forth. That is something that is likely going to happen. That is where the murkiness could be more. If they don't organize and allow divergent views to prevail as a democratic party, if they don't do that, they risk a lot more people leaving the party, as we have seen with Murtala. But finally, we need to also accept the fact that there has been a historical disruption. And that is the more reason why Dr. Bawumia seemed to have that strong opposition within the party. It is not good enough that a potential or presumptuous leader, by polling, you are around 52%. It's not good for you. Internally, it means that those people who are opposed to your candidature, there are many. Now, look at the historicity. MPP as a liberal conservative party, they believe in seniority. So, if you look at 1992, Mr. Kufuor wanting to challenge Professor Dubois, he was told the time was not due. Then comes former President Akufo-Addo wanting to challenge Kufuor. They say his time was not due. Now it got to Mr. Akufo-Addo, the former president, and then President Kufuor is using Alan to jump him, and he spoke about that. So that inured to his benefit, and then Mr. Alan allowed him to go. That you are a senior, go. Then he would say that what you have done, when your time is due, I will equally support you.
Right.
So you've been the leader of the party 8 years in opposition, 8 years in government, 16 solid years. You still want to convince people that Mr. Alan's time is not due, for which reason you have used Bawumia to jump in him. That historical disruption that has been created within the party is something that it is going to be difficult to solve, because there will still be strong opposition for Dr. Bawumia. And that is what I've always said. And with that, that in itself will not make them a formidable party. So unless they correct that historical disruption, they will struggle. Apart from the current executive not being solid enough. I mean, consider the work of the Director of Elections, Mr. Evans. When Dr. Manibuama and Tanko Computer were, posing questions, challenging data that EC had brought, what was the team doing? Look at the by-election. When the NDC faithful, the different MPs were there, the MPP, where were they? You had the Director of Communication holding a presser in Accra, making all manner of spurious allegations that were inexistent. You see? And all of this should point out to you that the center is not holding. The center is not holding. You need to have, an introspection and let people's ego be sidelined. If you really want to further the interest of the party, there is a need for them to come together.
Certainly.
And then let everybody have a win.
Doc, we're very grateful for your time this morning. Thank you so much for always lending your expert opinion to our discussions. And we'll speak again shortly. That's Dr. Jonathan Asante Otre, political analyst, also a senior lecturer at UCC. I'm still in the studio with Mr. Philip Longden. We're wrapping up in about a minute or so, and then we'll get on to other matters. But Mr. Longden, you've heard from our political analyst on this subject. Let's round up in just about 2 minutes or so on your final thoughts on this issue. He gives some interesting ideas or some insight as to why the party finds itself where it is now. As a citizen of this country, as a former member, what is it that you would like to see from the NPP to regain confidence and trust that the party can fulfill its mandate as a strong opposition?
Well, I think the professor,
Doctor,
said it all virtually. He made some interesting suggestions about how he thought some people should have gone for certain positions.
That's
which
right.
I quite agree. These were thoughts that many people had. Comrade Japan, the other person he mentioned, I forgot. Ajakun.
Okay, Ajakun.
For chairmanship, such experienced, solid people. But the rumor says that they may be going for president. They may be going for presidential candidates. Now, Kwabna eventually came out that he's going for presidential candidate. We didn't hear much about Ajakun. I hope he is still considering the position of chairman. Another person, too, who I think would have been solid for that office is Dan Bochi. And but anyway, I don't know what his own thoughts are and his own views are. I'm sure he's also one of those people. You see, deep party people have become very disenchanted with the way the party is going. And for many of such people, where the party has got to is virtually beyond redemption. Too many things have been done. It's like you're building a house, and the foundation itself is all wrong.
Doc says the waters are far too murky, so the center cannot hold.
It's gone too far. You see, people are talking about implosion. I don't think it's going to be implosion at all. I think it will be explosion. It will shatter into pieces. It's just too bad. You see, one thing that made the New Patriotic Party lose the last election so badly was that the last NPP government, led by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, wasn't listening to the people, wasn't listening to the party, wasn't listening to the people of Ghana. The party refused to listen. All the cries and loud wailings, they were like in the...
Fell by the wayside.
Yeah, they were in a soundproof box. They couldn't hear what was going on. And the people responded. Both the people of Ghana and the people in the party responded to that behavior. And now all that is now being institutionalized. The constitution of the party has now been changed to virtually perpetuate that it is now what some people are going to decide that no. It's gone too far. And in the past, yes, there are people who love the party, but then begin to, I can't remember who said, I think it was Ajakun who said, that people will walk away. People won't resign, but people will vote with their feet. They'll walk away from the party. And
so
people
you
are walking
see
away
people
from
just
the party.
retracting slowly.
People are just...
And then finally
because the more you hear even the way the leadership in parliament is behaving, it is disappointing. Who wants to be associated with that? Then, no. It's a disaster.
A lot for us to think about. Mr. Longden, we're grateful for your time this morning. We look forward to speaking with you again.
Most
Mr. Philip Longden
grateful.
is a communication member, Movement for Change. Time check, it is some 27 minutes past the hour of 9. We go for a quick break. When we come back, there's a lot more on the table. Do stick with us. This is 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.
Miji, affordable cooking oil is everything to me and my family. Sure, when I discovered